Good morning, Bates. Today is Thursday, March 18th. It's one of those weeks where the weather keeps changing on us. Sometimes the weather is fantastic, and other times it's rainy, or even it might get snowy at some point. And it's just weather that we've got to be prepared for. Know that the weather is going to keep changing up until we get into the warmer months. So just be ready for it, just like we as Bates scholars are ready for just about everything we try to face. It is also still Women's History Month, and we wanted to take a moment and share out about important women in history. And one of these important women in history was called Rachel Carson. I'm actually going to pull her up on my screen. So, Rachel Carson, for those of you who have not heard her name before, she was a very important scientist. She's a scientist that noticed in her community, in her area, the wildlife or animals, many of them were getting sick and dying and disappearing. And she investigated what was happening. And she found out that the reason this was happening was because of a kind of chemical that people were using that was actually leading these animals to die, was poisonous to them. And people didn't know about this. It took Rachel Carson, the scientist, investigating and doing this process of taking a look in her community to figure out what was happening, and then to use data, use science to figure out what the cause was, to be able to actually discover what was wrong and put a solution to it. So for Women's History Month, we just want to always recognize the important contributions of women to our world. And like I've said a couple of times, it's not just this month, but it's something we always want to do. And Rachel Carson is really special because she did this through her thoughts and her actions. She really thought through this problem that the animals, the wildlife in her community were disappearing. And she wanted to figure out why. And she took the scientific process to make that happen. So she inspires us to be really thoughtful, to observe, and to look for problems in our community and think of different ways to solve them. So, really, really exciting for Women's History Month. We have started to do our Trait Train project here at Bates. So, for those of you that remember, our Trait Train project is where our students at Bates will be showing one of these six different values in the school day. Maybe you're showing empathy, which means you're really caring about other students and other people at school. Or maybe perseverance, which is you're really trying hard at something that is hard for you to do. Or honesty, you're always telling the truth. Compassion, you're showing that you care about others and you want to help others. Responsibility, where you're always making sure you're doing your part of what needs to be done. And integrity, like honesty, you're always telling the truth, not only when others are looking, but always telling the truth all the time. When you earn one of these Trait Train strips here at Bates, you'll get a chance to fill it out with your name, and these strips are going to get added to ones that other students earn, and they're together going to become a gigantic link that's going to stretch out across our school. And it's something that we're going to be really proud of because it's going to show how all of our students at Bates are showing these amazing values. And it's going to show anybody that comes to visit our school all the different values that our students are learning and showing every single day. So for those of you that have already earned them, I've seen a couple of them on the different spreadsheets for the remote students, and some teachers have told me about some in-person students earning them as well. Make sure that you're showing those values every single day so that we can have them, anyone that comes to our school, really see and just be proud of all of the work that you're doing. And so one of the things that we want to remind you of this week is about the access testing that's happening on the second floor of our building. So, like we shared the other day, access testing means that some students are going to be taking a test and they're going to need your help. They're going to need you to be as silent as possible as you're walking through the second floor of our building, because those students need a quiet space to be able to focus and do their very best. So make sure that every time you're walking through the second hall and anywhere at Bates, you're being really respectful of other students and being silent and not speaking until you get to the classroom and your teacher gives you permission to do so. As we come around and we visit you in different classrooms, whether the classrooms are online and in person, we want to really make sure that you're showing that value of respect to other students so that you can be earning those train tickets, as well as just being a great Bates student that's helping other students in the building by being respectful of their space and time. All right, that's about going to wrap it up for us today. And as always, it's a great day to be great.